All right, so we're going to be doing the build video and just basically overview for this red debuffer SSR that's going to be coming out for tonight for some people and then the day after for some other people depending on your server. This guy is one of my favorite people, so I'm very excited to basically be talking about him in this video. So I hope you guys do enjoy it, and I hope this does end up helping you. I don't think if you don't have many pulls, you should be summoning on him, but if you are someone who has a good amount of pulls to basically splurge with, he's not a bad idea to maybe throw 30, 40, 50 pulls, because long term, he is a pretty good investment on a full mono red team if you are planning to go for other mono red teams. But for a lot of free to plays, he might not be worth it, but he is still one of my favorite units in this game and one of the most fun, just because he's like allows the teams to kind of progress a lot better. So let's explain what exactly he does. So starting with his skills, if an enemy has silence or total silence, there's a chance to get 20% increased mobility. So that kind of tells you what exactly the rest of his kit is about. He has an AoE 50% chance to silence at level 5, and with the skill page he inflicts SP -1, which at the beginning of a game is not crazy, but usually you're using that later on. And if you get SP -1, that could be reducing that could be pushing back their turn by their alt turn by 1. So essentially it's not as good at the beginning, but you're not using this turn 1, which means it does have some value a lot of the times. Even 1 SP could really just change the tides of battle, because you're delaying a whole alt by 1 turn, which could be pretty big, right? Then his alt, the best part about his kit, 32% mobility at level 5 reduction, you inflict taunt for 1 turn, and then you inflict total silence for 2 turns, which makes it so that they cannot use the skill 2 and the ultimate. Okay, now why the taunt is good is for people who have buffing combos, because of the fact that means the total silence will stop their skill 2 alt, and if they have a buff combo, the taunt obviously stops you from using buffs, which means all they could use is the skill 1, which makes it pretty good. It's the only way they were able to really stop you from using combos, unless they make like absolute destruction silence, right? So that really is the only way to stop it for some people, at least. Now this is going to be very good. Now he also has on his combo where you could inflict total silence, which if you use it with someone like William or Charlotte who have high speed, it could be pretty good. But to be fair, they are blue, so it might not be the best, but at least if you do inflict this turn 1, you could use him on a non-mono red team and still have value in him in some cases. But it's going to very much depend on certain things. Now, the main part about his kit that really just makes him very good is that if all allies are red, you get 20% mobility. Why that's good is that's a free Vault Assault. He's going to go first if you have him on a good speed build with this 20% mobility on a full red team all the time. He's going to be first, which is insane, right? It is insane. So this is definitely something to consider in if you're going to run mono red team or not, because he is definitely part of that meta team. Now, when you're attacking someone with silence or total silence already, you're going to get yourself 2 SP. So really getting dupes in him is quite something, right? You're going to start getting a lot more SP and being able to spam that ultimate a lot more. And then I'm pretty sure the second part. Now, yes, so at dupe 2, you're basically getting 2 SP every time you hit someone with one of the silences, and then you're reducing the enemy SP by 2 if they already have a silence. And if you use the AoE before the silence already runs out, then you could reduce everyone's SP by 2 on max dupe. So getting a max dupe, if you're really planning, more so for, I don't think free-to-play should really go for it, but because him at 0 dupes is fine. I've been using him 0 dupes on my just very maxed out Black Asta and top 500, and it's worked, right? But max dupe for a lot of people, if you really want to excel and make your toxic even later on in the game, then it's fine, right? It's good. And then his skill page, let's talk about it. Actually, we'll talk about that later. But just to say, getting dupes in that skill page is not a bad idea. So I guess we'll talk about it right now, actually. So his best one is probably going to be this, because of the fact that whenever he attacks an enemy inflicted with silence or total silence, there's an additional chance to get 10 up to 100% extra SP of 1 to 3, up to 3 at max dupe, obviously. So if you do get this max dupe somehow by just amazing luck, well, then this one skill page is going to be quite crazy, right? Especially when you consider that your 2 dupe is going to be giving you 2 SP, this giving you 3 at max dupe is 5 SP every time you attack someone with silence, one of the silences, which means he could start spamming his ult, which could start getting crazy. But overall, at 0 dupes, it isn't insane. But, I mean, it's pretty good, because at least you get this SP -1. I would say that's pretty good. Now, if not, after Yuno's banner, we're getting Season 4's banner, which is going to be the Noel banner. And this one is going to be pretty good, because whenever he's attacked, whenever he takes damage, I should say, there is a chance to reduce SP -1, and then at max dupe, 100% chance, which this is probably the one that you might want to go for max dupe. It's crazy. Now, on Yuno, obviously, he has taunt, so to be fair, he will be getting hit at least once by the person he taunted, right? Then, this one to apply the defense reduction isn't bad. Now it is on the special skill only, so it's a single target, which is unfortunate, but it's whatever. Now if you want to go for more defensive options, these two are good, at least to keep him more alive. Not a bad idea at all. There's not really many you could really run on him, right? There might be others. You might want to put crit res, but I mean, sure, if you want to go for something like that or go for the speed reduction, it wouldn't be a horrible idea. Even this one is not bad because that 2% speed reduction could genuinely just change the tides of battle, which is hard to believe. But if someone has the same speed and you reduce them by even 2%, you're still slower than the person who doesn't have their speed reduced, right? So that's basically how it goes. In terms of talents, you could really go either for this if you want to get the SP quicker, or go for this if you want to spam the skill 2 quicker, which allows you to get the AoE more, and then just basically spam the SP -1 more. Then you get for the defensive options, I would say these two, and then obviously your offensive options, these two also is the way to go for pretty much a lot of units, right? As for the gear, going for 4 speed is needed, especially when you're running the mono teams, right? Afterwards, going for 2 defense is for sure the best, and going for basically any defensive options that you can to make sure he's able to stay alive, because sometimes he can be squishy. But if you do give him the right options, giving him more HP percent, defense percent, more crit resistance, and then all the other stats like damage resistance too are the way to go. I don't really have it go too crazy because I mean, my other guys pretty much carry for but yeah, this is basically it. It's not my best defense set. I could run this one, but it's very hard when you're trying to run a bunch of defense sets, right? But I do have speed defense sets, but definitely for a lot of debuffers and just speed units, 4 speed with 2 defense is by far the way to go. Obviously upgraded speed and defense, yes. Now then, okay, is going to be pretty interesting in how you build his teams. I think there's going to be some discussion for teams where on global you have Fuego with Noel, right? Where's Noel? If I could find Noel, that would be nice. Noel should be up here. And then afterwards, usually you would run Finral or Charlotte, one of the two, all depending. But usually Finral is the one you run. So this team is going to be pretty decent, especially if they have barriers on their team in multiple. The only thing is Fuego won't be doing too much damage, but he's going to be getting rid of the barriers, which is more than enough to let Noel do the damage, which is usually why I'd put Charlotte. So in this case is going to be very good for getting rid of basically either the support. So basically you could either make it so that Voltos doesn't go, or Finral doesn't go, or you make it so that Julius can't attack. There's a lot of ways you could play it. Now on JP, the best team for me is going to be with Black Asta, obviously. And then if I could find them, Charlotte. Not Charlotte. Witch Queen. So this team is going to be very good. Witch Queen is going to be able to basically just put Asta under the threshold and then allow Asta to go crazy in terms of doing damage. Is going to be able to get the ult first turn, puts absolute silence on someone for 2 turns, basically disable them for 2 turns. And then later on, Asta's ult, I'd rather use Asta's skill 2 over his ult when he has the DPS. So to me, using the the combo with Asta could be very toxic because you get the absolute silence if you can't stun them, right? And that absolute silence is going to be very, very good. So those are like the 2 main teams. Now for global, obviously like the Noel team is probably going to be the best. If you even want to do something like this, honestly, I think sometimes this team might be deadass like really good, just because of the fact, right, that you're going to be able to at least stop someone like from stopping your plans, right? So let's say there's a William that's going to apply damage reduction, you could stop that, or stop someone else like Finral or Voltos from going crazy, and then that's basically how it works. So is basically there to stop anyone who would be annoying to your team, and it's just a very strong thing to be able to do. And I'm really in love with this unit now. Like, bro, I used to hate him, but now I love him. On full mono red teams, it does work. We're going to see how he works on global, right? But he might not be the best on global yet. Like, I'm offering these teams, but I don't think they're going to be too crazy. Like, it's not a top 3 team by any means. So I would say that people, if they are planning on getting should understand that he's really going to get good once Black Asta and Witch Queen comes out, because Witch Queen is what enables Black Asta to be the DPS in there. So yeah, amazing, right? Very good for quick pace teams because he stops the person for 2 turns. But then after that, it could get a bit iffy if you don't have a max dupe. But if you got a max dupe with max dupe skill page, bro, oh my god, is insane.